This is Sybert signing into Kane's Wrath on the map Ice Arena for a 2v2. Let's kick it off with our team in the north playing as the Green Reaper 17. This is Space. And his ally as the red GDI. This is BikeRushOwnz. Making up team number 1. Meanwhile, in the southern half of the map, making up team number 2 as the Cyan GDI. This is Futurama. And actually, he's Zocom. As the yellow GDI, this is Senna. Zocom and GDI versus Reaper 17 and GDI. Ice Arena, not a map that we have seen a ton of games on, but I do enjoy playing some matches on this map. We'll see how the Reaper 17 player does against the Zocom player. Futurama might have some difficulties, but let's see if he's able to make use of that impressive Zocom Air Force. Especially because, we might just get to a juggernaut phase of the game where Futurama's at a bit of disadvantage. But we shall see. Futurama and Senna teaming up once again. We've seen these guys play some 2v2s. Bike and Space apparently playing a decent amount of games recently, and this replay is maybe a month or two old at this point. It's been sitting on my hard drive for a while, so back at this point, Bike and Space were playing a decent amount of games. And a bunch of them against Senna and Futurama, not necessarily the two of them together, but overall, I'm excited to see how this one plays out. Relatively standard openers thus far. Everything is looking about normal. No crazy fast builds of odd shapes or sizes. Just pretty straightforward openings from everyone around the board. Now, you do have one of these splits of refineries, or expansions, rather. One player gets 2 small green fields, and then the other player gets 1 big green field. Now, you do have, instead of a third field, you do have 2 blue Tiberium fields in the middle of the map, but not really expansion locations, more long-distance harvesting type locations. Natural expansions should be coming up relatively soon from everybody. Senna already got his up and running. Getting ready to maybe drop a second war factory or tech up, one of those two things. Refineries coming down from everyone else. And once again, if you want to take a look at a lovely standard build order, this is a good place to look. Everyone's just macro-oriented. And, okay, nothing inside of that APC. No funny business with an engineer trying to sneak around the south side of the map or anything like that. A couple of scouting rifleman squads making their way around the map as well. Shardwalker and a couple of Seeker tanks pushing into the middle. Harvester going to steal the blue Tiberium for Space. Second refinery up and running for BikeRushOwnz, for Senna as well. Everyone happy to play this one out. Just a little bit defense. A little bit, let's poke into the middle. Maybe see if we can do some damage to the opponent's harvester kind of thing. Space is going to push that back. No problems there. And as we start moving on past our basic establishment of the natural expansions, we can start to see perhaps the real differentiation between these players. Faster command post and into the airfield for Senna. So instead of a second war factory here on the front lines, instead got himself out. Command post and an airfield that has been spotted by BikeRushOwnz, so he's going to see this hammerhead right out of the gate. Now, of course, this will kind of put a damper on the double airfield build of Senna. We'll see if he's able to do anything with this. Dev tanks have been spotted, with that TIB infusion going to be used up a little bit on that rifleman squad, but should be able to reinfuse that, repower up that dev tank. BikeRushOwnz moving out across the northern part of the map. He's going to be facing off against Senna. 4 hammerheads out on the field. Sold off one of the airfields already, so this was just a very small boost to the hammerheads, possibly because it was scouted and going to go in to try and snipe down some of the riflemen, some of the rocket squads as well. Might even take some shots at the APCs, but the hammerheads pull back. Futurama in the south. It's going to be a split map, it looks like. One way or the other. Orca Strike coming in. Futurama might get some really good damage off with his Orcas coming in. Gets a great damage against that Harvester. BikeRushOwnz pulls it right into the attack as it looks like he pulled the other Harvester away, but that first Harvester was already unloading Tiberium and kind of got stuck in that position. Futurama pulls back from the blue Tiberium. BikeRushOwnz floundering in the middle of the map, looking for an angle, looking for a real opportunity to try and do something, but finding not much. Harvester gets picked off. Senna continuing to skate around these forces with his hammerheads, looking desperately for something to do with them, but not quite finding the value that he wants. Futurama MCV move in the south, and BikeRushOwnz has arrived at Futurama's base in the south as well. Lots of Preds and lots of APCs. The defense from Futurama will be good enough. Pushes BikeRush back, and a lot of posturing, a lot of waiting for opportunities on all sides here. Sonic Emitter gets dropped just as the forces from Senna arrive at the expansion of BikeRushOwnz, and this has to be a multi-MCV play. Yes, it is indeed, as a Marv Reclamator hub on the way for BikeRushOwnz. A slow power-up to this game, but it looks like things are just going to go crazy. The Marv gets a hard lockdown there, as it's going to be Sonic Emitters. The Phase will save a couple of these tripods, but the other tripods will go down, as does the MCV of Futurama. BikeRushOwnz finally cuts in. He's looking for the damage. Multi-MCV plays on all sides, and the Orcas are going to get targeted down. One of them gets eliminated as an additional Sonic Emitter comes up. The Harvesters are falling. BikeRushOwnz will get crushed. Eventually, Futurama will make his base safe, but how much damage is he going to take in the meantime? The airfield gets sold off. All of the Orcas got eliminated, and only 3 APCs remain, as it looks like Senna is pushing into the base of BikeRushOwnz. Railguns has been purchased. Even a couple of Mammoth tanks mixed in with this army as the Juggernauts push in and the MCV unpacks. Senna swings around to the south side of the field, looking for an opening, looking for an opportunity where the Sonic Emitters aren't, but the Marv is out, and now even a Plasma Missile Battery going to clear the skies as the Hammerhead goes down, and the Marv presses forward. Space with the reinforcements. The Descent's coming in to try and catch the Mammoth tanks. He pushes Senna back, and Futurama, with no support, is going to have a lot of damage coming his way if Senna can't hold in the north. A constant stream of green crossing the map as these 3 APCs never got cleaned up. Futurama was never able to chase them down. BikeRushOwnz and Space here in the north are going to be fighting against Senna. Their forces combined. We do have Space Command uplink is now online for Senna. Could be some shockwave artillery in the future. 2 Sonic Emitters on the front line. These APCs continuing to do little bits of damage here and there. And actually, they have rocket squads inside of at least a couple of them. So that's actually great for BikeRushOwnz. That extra bit of damage as a Marv pops on out somewhere. It's down here in the south. Futurama, he may have an opportunity with so many forces in the north. Space may have actually pulled back some of the reinforcements. Yeah, he's actually kept the majority of his army in the south. The parade push was only to get some reinforcements up there and help Bike survive. Meanwhile, the APC's continuing to push around the base. 2 of them go down. The last APC that survives has no rocket inside of it. BikeRushOwnz and Senna in the north, continuing to just take a couple of shots at each other. Senna completely denying the eastern edge of that Tiberium field. Futurama feeling gutsy, feeling like he has an opportunity. This is a lot of firepower on the side of Space. So many tripods that is since constantly being produced. No epic unit. So we could see, well, it's going to be shockwave artillery firing off. I think it's on the side of BikeRushOwnz as he catches the Marv as all of the Reaper tripods get in range. And that is a dead Marv, no matter which way you cut it. Dead Marv from the Descent or dead from the tripods. washing over Futurama's forces as there is nothing that he can do. Space just crushing Futurama in the south. It's all up to Senna in the north. The riflemen starting to cut through those descent squad numbers, but they're not going to be able to do anything against this many tripods. Even a sonic emitter here in the south for Futurama. It's just a little too late there, as there isn't anything left. This single APC continuing to put out bits of damage. Juggernauts in the north of this Tiberium field wasting away, or wailing away at that refinery, wasting it nearly, but it does still survive. Zone Raiders get eaten up by the buzzers as they barely manage to escape away with their jump jets, but Space will not be stopped. In the north, Senna holding the line, but in the south, Futurama crumbling. He's going to mount some kind of defense, double barracks on the front line, a couple of sonic emitters perhaps as well, trying to hold off this just forest of tripods. Space playing this out very careful, not wanting to overcommit. He's got so many tripods, and yet still he's willing to play this one out very carefully, very cautiously as Senna pushes in the north. The phase on the Marv is going to save it, at least for the current moment, but the MCV and the Marv both EMP'd there as BikeRushOwnz is getting some help from Space. The Marv is going for the crush on the Mammoth tanks, but it's not quite going to line up as Senna evades very nicely the crushing power of that Marv. The Juggernauts, if they ever get an opportunity to shoot that Marv, will do some massive damage as one Juggernaut gets crushed, and the Marv continues its march forward. A couple of tripods getting stopped. Senna able to eat up those Skrin forces as they march to the aid of BikeRushOwnz. BikeRushOwnz has pushed back Senna, doing some damage to the artillery lines, and finally the Marv is no longer phased, but BikeRushOwnz backs up. He's done a significant amount of damage to the forces of Senna. He's bought himself another minute or two to try and hold off the next wave of the attack, and perhaps more importantly, Futurama, having been beaten back by Space, Space is now turning his reinforcements from the south to the north, giving Futurama a real shot to make a comeback in this game. Futurama has a bit of Tiberium still under his control as orbital bombardment lands on the Juggernauts. They continue to march on forward, the tripods leading the charge, the Marv following it up, and BikeRushOwnz and Space will crush through the defense of Senna. No real hope of stopping this. Rocket squads from Futurama, they are the real firepower of the defense. And even with them, a couple of shard launchers are going to do a pretty good job of cleaning up those rocket squads. Zorka's showing up, getting a couple of shots on those tripods, but it's not going to be enough. A couple of tripods falling here or there, but that will do it for this game. Space and BikeRushOwnz take the match. Futurama and Senna putting up a fight. Senna almost beating BikeRushOwnz in the north there. That phase really playing a big part for saving BikeRush's skin, and Space definitely upgrading his play a lot in 2021, showing some fantastic matches, both singulars, 1v1s, and team games in these 2v2 sort of matches. Especially recently, teaming up with BikeRushOwnz. It feels like BikeRushOwnz and Senna are sort of going toe-to-toe, but then Space is just stomping over Futurama. That'll do it for this game. Thank you all very much for watching this short but action-packed match. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert signing out.